hi. Have you ever tried to organize a holiday for 6 people who live in 3 different countries? 2 couples, 1 single person, 1 gluten-free person, few people who get seasick, few people who get car sick, some people who want to have like lazy style beach holiday, some people who want to go active sightseeing. You need to think about the budgets, who is going to drive, what time you're going to arrive, where you're going to meet. It's going to be morning flights, evening flights. You'll have to request holidays at work. Are you going to book at Airbnb or Booking.com? This is exactly the same issue that we all face at work as designers. I have a solution for this. I kind of feel so. But first, a little bit about myself. So my name is Olga. I work as a product design for past half a year in Adyen. I've been living in Amsterdam almost for a decade, and this is what my friends still think I'm doing here. This is what my parents think I'm doing here. That's what I think I'm doing, saving the world one design at a time. And that's what I'm actually doing on a daily basis, biking through the rain every day. So I'm gonna tell you 3 stories from my experience and a few takeaways from each of them, what I found really useful for myself, so I hope it's gonna make your life easier too. So story A. It's one of my latest adventures, and I feel like I learned a lot from there. Here's supposed to be a picture of a giant cargo ship. So imagine you're driving this giant cargo ship, like this chunky kitty is way cuter. So imagine you're driving it. You're moving full speed ahead, you know your direction, and you figure out you need to turn, like 180 degrees back. It's gonna be really hard. Now imagine you're driving a speedboat. That's gonna be way easier. So my point is that changing a way of work of individual team is way easier than changing a style of work of entire company. Starting small, starting low is easier. Big companies, they are full of inertia. And startups, they're so successful because they're like those speedboats. They can change their style any moment. They can change their direction any moment. So in this company, I was introduced as UXer to work with 2 tribes. When I say tribes, I mean basically teams. It's a Spotify model. If you're not familiar with it, Google it, it's amazing. It definitely will make your life better. And basically all my work and all my tasks were incorporated into the ticketing system of the development cycle. And my work became a part of the development cycle. When I was working with those 2 different tribes, I figured out that the maturity level of those tribes was different. In the beginning, it was kind of a struggle because, I mean, it was hard to adapt. But acknowledging the fact that this change will take time and this change will take effort from both of us, helped us to come to the next level. So not everything went great in that company. When business goals are taking over development goals and they want to take over the user goals, things are not going to work out the way you expect them to work out. So that was the moment when I left the company, so I'm really curious to figure out how they dealt with it themselves. But what I learned from this experience, that you need to invite every team member to user testing. For me, it was like an enlightenment moment, those aha moments when you see it, that's how it's happening. It happened when we had the user testing and we invited a development team. And when I saw them, how they were looking at the users on the screen using their product, and they were basically understanding at that moment how important is what we're doing, how small changes in design can impact that experience. So yeah, if you can do this, please do it. So second story. I have a code name for it. It's Development Riot. Do you like when strangers tell you what to do? Neither do I, nor like the people who are working at that bank. So in that bank, external design agency was hired by the board members, and they arrived like a knight in a shining armor with their beautiful shiny solutions, trying to solve all the problems that they were imagining having there. The problem is they never really talked to the team who were working in this bank. They never talked to developers, they never talked to designers, they didn't really bother to check with the users what the problem were. So of course, things were working out the way they were expecting it to work. This solution that they brought raised more questions than it actually answered. And fresh look is not really a design requirement. At least it's not the one that you all should follow. So it became sort of a small riot among developers and the more people who were working there. And you don't really want to have developers as your enemies. Developers should feel excited about the challenge that you're bringing. They should feel the ownership of whatever they're going to build. And to feel this ownership, they should participate in decision-making. This is very important. Otherwise, things are not going to work the way you expect them to work. So basically what happened, all deadlines got postponed. And this fresh look change basically got extended for years. And all designs that this agency brought, they got Frankenstein half the way by developers and designers who were trying to gather some ownership over it. And of course, they didn't work. So one thing that I learned from this experience, we should listen to Google Ventures. We should run design sprints. And we should involve everyone who is going to participate in building this product. So if you're an external, go to the office of your client, sit with everyone in that place. Try to talk to as many people as possible. And if you're an internal, dedicate time and effort and run a design sprint. And maybe not going to answer all the questions that you have, but it definitely will help to ask the right ones. So how is all this related to my holidays? You remember this 5 people, 3 countries, and all this stuff? Communication. Basically, in order to understand what we think, what other people think, what they expect us to do, what they need, we need to talk to each other. And in my case, when I was trying to organize that holiday, I set up a chat with everyone. And by talking honestly and openly to each other about what we want from this holiday and what we expect from this holiday, it helped us to organize an amazing trip. We're still having it close to our hearts and holding to it through the cold winters. That was great. And also, we're not telepaths. We cannot know everything, and we cannot read each other's thoughts. So we need to talk to each other. We need to understand dependencies that we have on all ends of our product. We need to approach our work holistically. Cambridge Dictionary defines holistic as dealing with or treating the whole of something or someone and not just a part. In simple, it basically means that everything is interconnected. We all are building something that is bigger than just one part. We need to contribute to this. We need to talk to each other. We need to understand each other. This is very important. So now to my last experience at Adyen. And I personally feel like it's a story of success. So what do we do differently? We invite non-designers to design reviews. As everyone else, of course, we have design reviews where people are coming, we exchange our designs, give some feedback, we're aligned with each other. But sometimes we invite people who are non-designers. It can be product leads, it can be business leads, it can be developers, because they can bring a very great insight on whatever we are doing. But also they can understand what kind of work we are doing and give a credit to us as well. As designers, we are not outsiders. In Adyen, designers are put in the core of every team. We work together. We set up, for example, our annual and quarterly goals all together as a team. And also designers are incorporated in the process of the development. And developers are closely working with designers during the creation process. And the most important part, and I feel like this is lies basically in the core of how Adyen is functioning. We empower collaboration. What it means, basically in Adyen, people talk a lot. It can be a 2 minutes conversation while you're standing in line for coffee, or it can be a whole day session where we fly our colleagues from other offices and we spend the entire day working on some problem. Also in Adyen, we have Adyen formula, and I would like to showcase only 3 points from it. The rest you can find on our website. First, we don't hide behind email, instead we pick up the phone. A 2 minutes quick call can be way more insightful than exchanging 10 emails. Because we can say things very simple, direct. We can read our emotions, we can read what we think, we can understand each other. We're humans, we speak. It's great. We talk straight without being rude. I think this comes from a Dutch culture. Dutch people quite direct. But I mean it in a good way, because if it's something great and we like it, we will acknowledge it. We will tell each other that, hey, you did an amazing job, it works. If something doesn't work, we're also going to tell about it. After all, we're not fighting for something. We're not enemies. We're working together on something. And the last one, we include different people to sharpen our ideas. Basically, it means that we encourage everyone to collaborate with us on the design system. We ask everyone to participate in the team's planning. We ask people to exchange in between their teams. So my takeaways from this experience so far: start small, change people's mind one by one. It will cause a ripple effect. So if you will start to do something differently within your team, and this will cause some success, of course, because you will work better, your product will better. People will see what is different in your team, and they will try to replicate it and make it different too. So the entire company slowly will adopt the process that you're trying to apply. Involve people with different backgrounds. So we are all like unicorns. We possess unique experiences, we possess unique knowledge. And by sharing it with each other, we just enrich our products. It will make it better from any kind of point of view. And a small bonus: don't try to make it perfect from the start. It's an evolution, not a revolution. So, of course, it's going to be a cycle of failures and successes. But this is the only way that you can figure out how your team should function, what is your way to build the best product. Thank you. Now we can all go have drinks.